This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, you can see the wind is gusting, there's heavy overcast conditions, and there is a leopard that is on the prowl. This is Safari Live.
This is so exciting. We've managed to find the sausage tree pride.
Look at this last dash.
This is amazing.
Look at that incredible strength.
20 seconds.
Here come the cheetah.
Unbelievable stuff. I'm just keeping my head on a swivel. You never know what's going to happen next in these situations.
Standing by.
Can you believe this?
Three, two, one. Live. Darkness is descending upon the African bush, which, as many of you know, is the best time to be out here. Now, my name is Jamie, and I've made a grievous error. I tried to follow a hyena off-road, which is a task reserved purely for the brave or the foolish, and I'll leave it to you to decide which of those we are, because I've lost her. But that's okay, because that's what happens on a live safari, because not only is this a safari live, it is also interactive. So you can send through your questions on #SafariLive on Twitter, and we will answer them in real time from our side. Now, what makes this even more special is the fact that we are actually coming to you from two different unique locations. The magnificent Maasai Mara up in Kenya, and here home on Djuma, which is in the Greater Kruger National Park of South Africa. Now, there's all sorts of surprises. Sometimes the animals vanish, sometimes they don't. I can't find the road, but that's how it goes. So, as of last week, we also had all sorts of surprises for the Safari Live team.
Last week on Safari Live. Up in the Maasai Mara, I followed the North Clan as they put their stamina and strength to the test in the midst of the migration. Down in the Greater Kruger, the summer sun beamed over the Sabi sands, so Sydney cooled down with one of the Djuma clan members, while Steve caught up with a hot Hosanna. Tristan continued his lucky leopard streak, with the little chief showing signs of growth, having stood up to his big sister Thandi.
You see, lots of exciting things to look forward to this week as well. Oh look, we've even found the road, which is exactly what I was aiming to do. Now, why am I trying to follow a hyena off-road? There's a couple of very good reasons. One, they're my favorite animal. They're the most intelligent, comical, and unique creatures out here with a terrible reputation. Two, the weather's bad, which means that they're going to be hunting. The wind is howling, and there's rain on the horizon. And we've also lost the den, so we're trying to find that. Now, there's all sorts of good explanations for what it is we do, and sometimes it pays off, and sometimes, just as Steve had a few weeks ago, nature surprises us all.
Hello, look at what we found, my favorite animal in the whole world. From a distance, I thought I saw a very large monitor lizard, but it is in fact a honey badger that is digging his nose into this very dead tree. We're going to try. How exciting is that? So excited, I don't quite know what to say right now. Well, there he goes. He's on the floor again, V. There he is. And he's not moving quickly. Honey badgers normally just don't stand still. He's going to come right to us. This is my first honey badger in Djuma. I am so excited. And normally honey badgers just disappear. This guy doesn't seem too bothered at all. I can't believe it. That's just made my year. Seeing the wild dogs this week and now a honey badger on Sunday. It's one of my favorite weeks ever. There he goes. That's the typical honey badger gait. Oh, he's stowed down again. And he's moving through. He's going to cross the road in front of us in a second. We get a nice sort of image of him now, sniffing as he goes. There he goes. That's the honey badger movement. And they can keep that up for a very long period of time. How fantastic. He's got really, really good sense of smell. Not quite sure what he's looking for, but could be looking for insects, scorpions, snakes. He was climbing up on the tree, and maybe he was looking for something that snuck itself away into one of the cavities. Everyone is also very excited like me. Woo! I'm ecstatic. Okay, let's see if we can get him again. He's looking very relaxed.
And welcome back live, and welcome so more live in the Mara Triangle in Kenya. This is a different country, and my name is David, and with me on camera is Bungei, and we're very excited to have all of you on board. It's a very warm welcome in Kenya, and as I said earlier, we are in the Mara Triangle. And first things first, you might notice these look like lions, but they have a different color. It looks dark, yes, because in Kenya we are 1 hour ahead of South Africa. We're in the East African time zone, and South Africa, you're in Central Africa time zone. And for that reason, we are using a very special camera that is called infrared. Infrared is a camera that got some invisible light that these animals that you see here having this late early dinner, they cannot see us, but we can see them very well. Well, this is very interesting, as you just saw earlier there, how lucky it was for Steve to have seen a honey badger, and especially during the day. That is super special sighting. There are sightings that when we see here in Africa, like during the day, we always feel very excited, and the honey badger was one of them. Now, this particular pride here is called the sausage tree pride, and it's just devouring or eating a buffalo. There are cubs in it. The 3 cubs, as you can see, and we're going to be sitting here for a couple of more minutes, see how they are going to devour this huge buffalo that they killed for themselves last night. Well, we'll first take you back to my friends in South Africa, and I'm sure at one point we'll be back with me.
Henda ndima dekwana avudinga manda richikova tanganeza. This is Sydney Fumunani Mikosi, and I am coming to you live from the western side of the Greater Kruger National Park here in South Africa. And for in case if you need our attention, you can follow us on Twitter, #safariLIVE. I've got a marvelous sighting here at the moment. I've got a mating pair. You can see that the 2 lions, both male and a female, they're just standing now, listening to what is happening to the surrounding. What the male is doing there now is called a demarcation of the territory. So he's leaving behind some sand in order to communicate with the lions that this area belongs to him, and if any other lion comes in here, a tremendous battle is going to take place. What a beautiful male. Aliza, what we are seeing here now is the representatives of 2 completely different social structures the lions have got. The male, beautiful male we have got here is belonging to a coalition called the Avokas. The female we are seeing here belongs to a pride called the Unkuhumas. So these 2 are now on a mating activities. These 2 lions has been mating for the past consecutive 3 days. And we might be lucky and see them mating again before the end of the show. So let's quickly cross over to Tristan and see what he's doing at the moment.
Indeed, so from the tawny cats, you can see we're still sitting with the most elusive and spotty cats that we get out here, and it's a leopard. Now, this is not the same leopard you saw earlier. We're actually with a mother and her cub. So there's 2 leopards here. This is the cub that is being very, very alert. There's some wind that is howling around here. There's also some monkeys that are alarm calling, which could be for her or her mom, given that they are quite far apart at the moment. There's about, I would say, about 60 to 70 meters apart, and they're kind of looking and they're listening quite a bit. And you'll find when you get blustery cold weather like this with clouds, you'll often see that leopards will get quite sort of into hunting and looking around for food, particularly a young leopard like this. Even though she's still under the protection of her mom, she's getting quite sort of well, she's trying to hone her skills as much as possible, and so she'll often chase things around. So we're going to sit with her for a little bit. We're going to see what she gets up. We're going to send you away for a short break. Hopefully when you come back, she'll be in the full-blooded hunt. We'll see you shortly. So one of the cats is moving, not these ones. Right, now we are obviously still trying to see if we can figure out how we're going to be able to get a better view of Thandi and Tlalamba. Tlalamba is mobile now straight to the sort of west at the moment, but there are monkeys alarm calling, which makes me think that maybe, just maybe, one of our other cats is moving around. So maybe Hosanna, who is not too far away. Thandi is still sitting on the mound, I think. Yes, I can just see her head at the moment. So straight up there, you'll see her head is on top of that mound in the distance. There we go. And she's also looking around, so she can probably hear what's going on and probably knows there's somebody else that's causing a bit of a stir. Now, it's going to be interesting because monkeys and things that alarm call, well, they can attract attention of other predators, and I wouldn't be surprised if the big sausage Tingana also arrives onto the scene at some point. Good. We're going to sit with these two and maybe just quickly go check on Hosanna. And while we do that, though, let's send you back across to the Maasai Mara with David, who's still with his pride of lions, and it should be getting to that time when they'll start to move around.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm one very excited boy because I got my sausage pride here, and they're devouring buffalo. So how cool is this? And it's always wonderful to see lions bringing down such a big, a big prey like a buffalo. How wonderful is this? Keep enjoying. I'm just telling them bon appetit, and keep eating. Zako umepunguza buda? Punguza tena kidogo. Hata zangu nimepunguza. So yeah, I mean, we'll see that's the male now. They are just trying to devour this particular buffalo, which is a good thing, and I'm sure by the time they all go to bed they'll be very full, having eaten all this huge buffalo. And I think they killed it the night before last, or 3 nights ago, and come tomorrow morning there'll be nothing left here. How wonderful is this? But again, this particular pride, I know what they are able to do. Fantastic. Welcome back live, and more so welcome back to the Maasai Mara Triangle in Kenya. We are coming to you live with this very exciting sighting of this pride of lions that are feeding here on a buffalo. I mean, for those of you who would be joining us now, my name is David, and it's a great pleasure just to introduce to you this particular pride that are feeding here. Now, this pride is called the sausage tree pride, and please know you can ask us questions, you can send comments in real time using hashtag safariLIVE. We know our lions very well, we know our prides very well, and why we call it the sausage tree pride is because they love to climb particular trees that are called sausage trees that are found in this particular area where we are. What they're devouring now, or what they're feeding on right now, is there are 2 males here, 3 females and a couple of youngsters, 3 cubs. What they're feeding on now is a buffalo. And I'll tell you what, this is not the first time I have seen this pride bringing down a buffalo.
During the long rains, when the migrating herds of wildebeest and zebra are in the Serengeti, Kinky Tail and the sausage tree pride focus on hunting buffalo. The two young males, now around 3 years old, are a powerful asset on the hunt. The presence of kipuli has made the pride deadlier still. The pride's attacks are strategic, seeking out the weak, injured, and lonely. The ambitious young males charge first. They surround the old warrior, taking turns to attack his rump while avoiding the dangerous horns. The young males instinctively go for the Achilles heel, trying to snap the tendons. It's a long, brave fight for the bull, but eventually, Kipuli's strength is too much for him. Kinky Tail takes position at the front, suffocating and stopping the distress bellows, which could attract scavengers.
It's scary being a buffalo out in the wilderness. It's scary being a wildebeest as well. But now we're back live with wildebeest here in South Africa. And they're taking time out from being terrified of predators to play. And I bet that's something a lot of you didn't know about wildebeest, but at this time of day, they are an absolute joy to watch. They've been nicknamed in the past the clowns of the bushveld, and that is because they are naturally incredibly funny, usually first thing in the morning or in the evenings, and they dash around and they chase each other and they headbutt each other and they roll on the ground, and it is thoroughly entertaining to watch. And you're watching it happen right now live. Everyone's stopping to have a jolly good scratch at a tree called the silver cluster leaf, which they use to scent mark as well. Now, it's nice for these wildebeest at the moment. They don't have to worry about migrating everywhere. It's a very different story for the poor wildebeest and zebra of the Maasai Mara, as Scott discovered a few months ago.
Welcome to Kenya, everyone. We are sitting with this pride of lion, and they are keeping a very close eye on the zebra. The zebra clearly have no idea that they are currently being stalked, and I'm hoping that we get to see some action shortly. Now, the lions do have their work cut out for them. There's a total of 5 lions in this pride. They are called the Owino pride, and we've been lucky enough to follow them very closely over the last year. And what we've learned is that there are 2 mothers and 3 youngsters that are about a year and a half old. And those year-and-a-half-old youngsters don't really know exactly what's going on when it comes to hunting. They've still got a lot to learn. As we stand, the area that we are in is actually on the edge of their territory, and there's a chance that they could bump into one of the neighboring prides. It is something that happened quite recently.
The fledgling Owino pride has grown in confidence and skill. The 3 youngsters have been learning some essential wilderness lessons from their dedicated mothers. As with all mammals, much of the young lion's play behavior is unconsciously geared towards preparing them for the responsibilities of adulthood. The Owinos are the smallest pride in the area. Occasionally, they run into larger, more experienced prides. This time, it was the 3 veteran lionesses of the Mogoro pride. Initially, the Mogoros were intimidated, so the Owino mothers pressed home the advantage, possibly buying time for the youngsters to escape. But the Mogoros quickly worked out that they were the stronger force and counter-attacked. The Owino mothers, their young safe in the background, beat a retreat, unwilling to risk a physical scuffle. Soon, however, the Owinos will be 5 closely bonded, battle-hardened adults. No longer will they be forced to back down.
So everyone, as you can see, a lucky escape for this pride of lion. Thankfully, it was against possibly the weakest of their many rivals, but yet the weakest rival is still stronger than them. With only 2 adult lioness, they have the smallest pride in the area. So hopefully, in the coming years, when these 2 young girls and the young boy get a bit bigger and stronger, they'll be able to start contributing to defending this pride's territory, as well as trying to secure meals for it and expand their area.
Welcome back. I am still coming to your TV room live from the western side of the Greater Kruger National Park, Sabi-Sands Juma Game Reserve. And please don't forget that this is an interactive live safari. You can follow us on Twitter, #safariLIVE. That is where you can send your questions and comments. Here, I'm still together with the mating pair. It's time now. What a lovely question from Bobby. Bobby would like to know how soon will the female give birth after this mating we are seeing now. So the lions, the females, after mating, they have got to wait just for about approximately 3 months in order to give birth. And that is when we are going to have up to approximately 5 cubs. How did this male find out that this female is ready for mating? Lions can be so very much interesting. Let me demonstrate to you how these lions manage to get hold of the signals. Normally, the male lions, they go and sniff the urine of the females and open the mouth and do something which is called to grammize. After that, they will take the information from the air particles to the roof of the mouth where there's a Jacobson organ which will inform the male in order to know about the reproductive status. Now, let's quickly cross over to David by the Maasai Mara.
Welcome back to the Mara Triangle, and it's always exciting to see lions. Sydney having lions there, and myself having lions here in Kenya. Now, lions eat a lot, and in general you might see a lion eating about 20% of its body weight. I'm trying to imagine this particular male could be about, what, 250 kilos? So it's very possible in one sitting he can eat 50 kilos. But definitely not the little cub there to the right, which is just enjoying and looking maybe at the dad eating. Well, remember, we are in black and white, or rather we are in infrared, for those of you who could be joining us now. That's why you see our pictures looking black and white. And this youngster here is wondering, Dad, will you stop eating for me to also have a bit of this buffalo kill? Should you have any questions, nice people, you may ask, and you may send questions, and comments using #safariLIVE on Twitter. And this particular pride is called the Sausage Tree Pride. It has 2 coalition males, or 2 pride males. That's the one you see it there. And the rest, the females, are on the left. There are 5 females and there are 3 cubs. How lovely is this? Well, anything that might surprise us now would be hyenas coming in this particular mix. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Witness a very tremendous battle. Understand?
Our wildebeest are still bouncing about. They were thoroughly entertaining a few seconds ago, or just before we went live. Of course, they were at their most active, and then naturally, as soon as the link came, there you go. We're about to go back into the TV show, and you know exactly what's going to happen. They're either going to run beyond the point of the camera, or they're going to stop doing this. It's just one of those things. It says certain Murphy's Law. All right, we are going to do something Emma says. Okay, all right, we were just testing. All right, sorry about that, we were just testing. One more test. We have 1 minute and the wildebeest are moving away. And we are back alive here on a cold, cloudy and windy South Africa. Now remember, because you're on a live safari, that means that you can send through your questions on hashtag safariLIVE on Twitter. We've been with a playful wildebeest for the last, I would say the last 10 minutes or so. There's also some impala in the background. And playtime is nearly over. You'll notice that we are now in black and white. That is because it is now nearly dark, which means that we have switched to using infrared light that the animals cannot see and does not disturb them. Look at the little baby there. Tiny little baby wildebeest. Two little baby wildebeest in the background. Our playtime's nearly over because, of course, as it gets dark, the predators start to move about. Now, whether it is antelope in the Maasai Mara or antelope in Djuma, they all have to be concerned about predators, but there are plenty of differences between them.
Across Africa, there are 72 species of antelope living in diverse habitats from desert to rainforest. Out on the plains of the Maasai Mara, speed is crucial to escape being devoured by hungry predators. They don't come much faster than the Thompson's gazelle. But they don't come more sneaky than the common duiker, which relies not on speed, but on camouflage and stealth in the woodlands of the Kruger. In the Mara, the impala are showboaters with impressive horns. While Kruger impala are smaller, their density is far greater. The Mara's yearly highlight is the arrival of 1.5 million wildebeest. The Kruger has no way to compete. But it's not all about numbers. The intimacy of a wildebeest birth in the Kruger woodland is sublime. It cannot be seen in the Mara because the great herds calve on the southern plains of the Serengeti. In all great games, the competitors have their own strengths. The gifts of the Mara and the Sabi sands complement each other beautifully.
Right now, unfortunately, we lost visual of our two leopards, but we know that they might come back to where we are because we managed to find what they had been hanging around with. Now, if you are a little bit sensitive and you don't like to see guts and gore, then it's probably a good time to turn away. But basically what we found is a impala carcass. It's been fed on quite heavily by these two leopards. Their tracks come up and down from this area, and they were seen feeding on this a little bit earlier in the day, and so they possibly have gone off to try and kind of see what else is around and maybe to try and find a bit of a vantage point. It's why that female was using that termite mound when we first saw her, to be able to see if there's anything like hyenas, other leopards around, or anything like that. And so they might have wandered a little bit into a thicket and then are going to hopefully come back to this position here and feed off this. Now, the thing about this is that they're not going to leave it on the ground all night. If they do, things like hyenas are definitely going to come come in and end up stealing it. And so I'm hoping that one of them will come back, particularly the mom, because this carcass will be far too big for the cub to take up into the tree. And so mom will have to come back and pick it up and then take it up, and hopefully then keep it nice and safe, and they won't have to worry too much about it being stolen away from them. Now, talking about things being put up in a tree, we saw Steve a little bit earlier, and well, he had a monitor lizard and a honey badger, and well, the monitor lizard had staked sanctity up a tree.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Djuma in the Sabi Sands, where we have got a very excited and very energized honey badger that has been ferreting around in the undergrowth and sniffing after something. We weren't quite sure what. It then all of a sudden launched an attack, caught this individual monitor lizard by the tail, and the monitor lizard, who is very, very strong, was able to pull himself out of the grasp of the honey badger, ran up a very big log, and is now perched precariously on a very thin branch. The honey badger is moving around in all sorts of circles. He is a very smart fellow. They're able to figure things out, and he's going to see if he can somehow displace that monitor lizard from his perch on top of the tree. Now he's going up the actual tree that the monitor lizard's in. They are very good climbers, and what's going to happen is if he does get up there, the monitor lizard's going to feel he's being threatened. He's probably going to jump out, and the honey badger will basically probably jump down and chase him. I don't think this is going to end well for the lizard. Wow. Honey badgers are my favorite animal in the world. This is my first time seeing one in probably about a year and a half. First time seeing one here on Djuma. Look at how he goes. He does not care. There goes the monitor lizard. Down he goes on the floor. The chase is on, folks. The chase is on. Go, honey badger.
That was incredible. Steve has been so very lucky with that honey badger chasing a monitor lizard. I am here now where you have just left from, and things has been happening here while you were away. I've just picked up a very strong sound, and I started investigating. When I got here, the roar was coming from a completely different pair. This is not the pair we have seen earlier on. This is another pair. And the male we are seeing there also belongs to the very same coalition called the Avokas. Look at how beautiful that mane is. So now I want us to learn more about this Avoca coalition.
The Birmingham Coalition, former rulers of Djuma, have moved south. Into the void have stepped the three Avoca males, now approximately 4 years old. Males normally have to fight for territory, but these millennial fellows arrived to find this prime lion real estate unoccupied. At first, the Nkuhumas kept their distance, fearing for their youngest members. Relations have thawed slowly, but the male remains a threat, especially where meat is involved. Amber Eyes was the first lioness to extend an olive branch through mating. The Avokas have assumed a territory and mating rights without so much as a scratch from the departing Birmingham boys. They certainly seem to be very comfortable in their new home.
Welcome back live, and welcome back live more so in the Mara Triangle. Now, looking at the coalition of the Avokas, which normally are always three males, I would like to compare them to the coalition of the lions we got here that are called the Oldonyo Pike. Now, the Oldonyo Pikes are two, but they are always a very good or a formidable force to deal with. There was another coalition earlier here of another dominant male called Kipuli with two other youngsters, and I think now these two males of the Oldonyo Pike overthrew that reign, and currently they are in charge. There's nothing as warm as having a whole family seated together on the dining table sharing a meal. 3 mothers here, 3 cubs. Suppose you like to know how long lions can go without eating. Of course, a number of factors would come in place. Age, the size, of the animals, whether they are males or females. But I would say a maximum of 3-4 days, sometimes even up to 7 days, they can go without eating. I mean, they digest their food very slowly, and lions have been known to be energy saving. And how nice to see all these family enjoying this meal together. I mean, this particular pride, I respect them for a number of reasons. You can see there's a big horn there. This was a male buffalo that they brought down 3 days ago, and the little cub is trying to chew a little bit of that. You should be getting better flesh than that, not just chewing that particular part. It's too hard for yourself. Your teeth might not be very strong just to chew the bone, because you might even break your teeth. How lovely to see cubs just feeding here with their mothers. 3 cubs, as I said earlier, and 5 females, and this is just a wonderful evening. Anytime, hyenas may pop up, and if they do, it will be an interesting drama. And for that reason, we are going to a break, but don't go away, because we'll be right back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is just wonderful to see my favorite pride of lions just having a meal here, and it's wonderful to see the cubs, eating together with the adults without any issues. The males were eating earlier, and one of them went away. The other one came in, ate a bit of pieces of meat, and they left. And I've been wondering, this particular youngster here is very cheeky, because I think he's chewing something that's just too hard for him. Too hard for him, because I know he is a boy. 3 cubs here, and all of them are males. And for me, I would guess it could be easier to go for a better and softer meat than trying to chew something very tough here. But lions are lions, or boys are boys. So that's exactly, maybe he chose to try and tear that part away from that buffalo. So that is the mother there, not the mother, that's another female that's called Kinktail, and I'm sure you all know Kinktail is the oldest girl in this particular pride, and we call her Kinktail because she got a little split on her tail. Hopefully at one point you're going to flick her tail up, and you're going to see that. This is so lovely, just to see these lions in black and white being in infrared, just enjoying dinner. I respect this particular pride, as I said earlier, because they have been known to bring down huge and dangerous prey like buffaloes, and it's not easy. This particular one, having been a male, not even a female, I would guess they did very well for themselves. In general, when lionesses bring down buffaloes, they'll need a hand, they'll need some muscles, males to flex their muscles to subdue the male. And let's take you back now to South Africa, to Jamie Patterson.
So the thing about this weather is that it's great for predators. It's not fantastic for nocturnal creatures. I find that bush babies and things like that tend to actually hide away, and I don't think I can blame them. It's the equivalent of waking up and it's rainy and cold first thing in the morning, and you just decide you really don't want to get out of bed. And I think the same applies for the nocturnal creatures too, just in reverse. But this is Zoe's road. It delivers. Let's see what it's going to deliver us. Also think Shadulu might be somewhere here. I'm hoping. Apparently she crossed in, but none of us can find any evidence of that. That is a leaf, not a chameleon. And we're back live, and darkness has descended here in South Africa. So it's been threatening for the last few minutes. It is now well and truly here, and we are on a night drive. So it's not all about the big cats or the hyenas or the wild dogs, the predators. There's all sorts to be found out here. And as it gets dark, you know, things like genets and civets and chameleons and bush babies, and that's what we're searching for at the moment. Oh, you never know. We might even find ourselves a honey badger, but you have to get really lucky with that. We don't want to keep you in suspense any longer. Let's go and find out what happened with Steve's sighting.
We have the honey badger. He has just made the kill of what looks like a rock monitor. It's hard to say. I want to try reposition for you, Vildi. Just put my nose in the bush here real quick. Holy moly, everyone. This is incredible stuff. That's about as good as we're going to do. We've just put our nose off the road here. Well, the honey badger preys on whatever he wants to. And martial eagle are actually also a very, very good predator for monitor lizards. Larger monitors are also good predators against younger ones. But the honey badger has dispatched him. He has probably snapped his neck when he caught him. The monitor, after that drop onto the floor, I think everything was over for him there. There's no escape. I've seen honey badgers taking Cape cobras out of trees. I've seen them killing rock pythons that are 6-7 times larger than them without any effort. It's all about attitude. There we go. It's positioned itself perfectly for us. What a fantastic sighting.
Welcome back live. Just listen to that. Well, we're still sitting here in the Mara Triangle and enjoying the sighting of this particular pride of the sausage tree. And my name is David, for those of you who could be joining us now. And we're in Kenya. When we started, it was a bit warm, around 23 degrees. It has got a little chilly, and that's why I have the extra shuka on top of myself as I enjoy this particular family. To Shamo, when was this kill? This was 2 nights ago. This was 2 nights ago, because I happened to be around here on a drive to Shamo, and that's when I saw it being very fresh. And I'm looking at it will become bolt-on maybe in the next 2 days, but I'll tell you what, there'll be no chance of that to happen, because these lions are going to clean the whole of this buffalo. And what will be left behind? Can you hear that? Ladies and gentlemen, those are the 2 males I was talking about. And did you see the change in behavior of this whole family once those 2 males started roaring? Ooh, ooh, that happens a lot. And that's why the dramas with my friend Scott Dyson with the other pride that's called the Winos with the hyenas was still continuing sometimes back.
Well, welcome back, everyone. We are still sitting here with the Owino Pride of Lion. As you can see, they have got lots of food up ahead of them, and they are slinking into some long grass, some perfect cover for them to create the ambush. We discussed lions having to contend with other lions earlier, but another major issue that they have to deal with, Archer, are the scavenging hyenas.
Finally, the Owinos managed to secure a decent meal. A buffalo. No mean feat for just 2 lionesses. For the moment, the pressure to feed their pride was released. They feasted until they could feast no more. The relief and joy was palpable as the lions relaxed in the perfection of the Mara dusk. But with darkness, a new and dangerous challenge would arise. The massive happy zebra clan picked up on the scent of meat in the Mara evening breeze and homed in. The mothers made a half-hearted attempt to defend their meal. But the hyenas quickly worked out what they were up against. They smelled blood and victory. There was a small twist to the tale, however. A youngster, enraged by the theft, found the courage to counterattack with the mothers. Although his efforts were futile, the emboldened youngster is a great sign of things to come for the Owinos.
Well, how incredible was that? The sound of those hyena must have terrified the small pride of lion. And I'm impressed that the 2 mothers actually put up as much of a fight as they did. Oh, here comes the young boy. You didn't put up much of a fight, did you? But in the coming months, when you get a little bit bigger, you are going to become hugely, hugely beneficial to this pride. And you single-handedly, little do you know, will hopefully be able to keep this pride's food to itself and not let the scavenging hyenas get to it.
It was lovely watching my friend Scott having such a fantastic sighting of those lions. You can see the mating pair is about to show us some of the highlights here. Let's see how they are going to impress each other. Look at that. When the female is going down, possibilities of the male to go right there and show us something. They are very much high. The mating of the lions is associated with a certain kind of a ritual whereby you will see the female turning and trying to lash the male with a nail somewhere here by the head. You will hear something such as that is when growling, trying to chase each other, because when he's mating, the copulatory organ of the male is having some kind of spikes, barbs, that normally scratches the copulatory passage of the female when it's withdrawing from mating, and that is needed in order to kickstart the process of ovulation. Otherwise, the eggs are not going to be ready for fertilization. You can see they are right here with me, still lying down close to each other. The longevity of mating on lions is going to take about 4 to 5 consecutive days. Sometimes can be about more than that. So what happens here is that after every 15 minutes, these lions, you will see them mating. So they can mate about 4 times an hour. And if you can check, if you can calculate 15 minutes for about approximately 7 consecutive days or 5 consecutive days, is going to be more than 250 times. So it's quite a responsibility on this male in order to make this female to become pregnant so that they can have offsprings. I have got a lovely comment from Bobby. Nice sighting. This is indeed a nice sighting, and here I am waiting to see what is going to happen. So I can see that these lions, the male, he is thinking about to do something, and the lions we are seeing now is not the one we saw earlier. If you look at this male, he's got a smiley on the side of the face. Every time I show you these animals, please try by all means to pick up a unique feature in order to distinguish between these lions when we show you next time. While I'm waiting to see what is going to happen here, Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. These lions might show us action right now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still here and watching the sausages, and I'm not going anywhere because it's quite entertaining to see them eating the buffalo that they killed 2 days ago. Hello there. You're not eating now, you must be full. And it's lovely when you get very happy lions like this, having eaten loads of pounds, I would guess, of meat, which is pretty good. And I'm very encouraged that even with the wildebeest having gone with the end of the migration, they can be able to get something for themselves, and I'm talking about the buffalo. So hopefully the rest of the party will keep joining eating, and let's see the magic of our FLIR camera with Tristan.
Well, as you can see, we are sitting still very patiently waiting, and in the FLIR thermal you can see just on top of the termite mound there's a little hot spot on top, and so that's Thandi that is busy sitting there. At the moment she's out of reach in so many respects, because one is the bush is very thick around there, and two, it's unfortunately on the northern side of the road, and so we're going to have to just sit and wait and hope that she comes down. Now Tlalamba's directly behind that mound. We saw her move behind there just now, and so the two of them are sitting there. It's the only kind of gap we can get of them, and in the FLIR it always looks so open, but I can assure you that it's not open at all between us and them. Now hopefully she doesn't put her head down, because we're going to come out of this ad break with her, and she's got 60 seconds to keep her head up, otherwise it's going to be an interesting kind of way to introduce her. But anyway, let's see how we go, and so it's going to be kind of interesting anyway that we look at it. But I'm going to hold off speaking for a little bit so that we can kind of get our timing right on everything, so we'll chat to you guys just now. Well, welcome back everybody, and no, you haven't gone into the twilight zone with a whole bunch of colors that are looking completely out of this world. It is our thermal camera called the FLIR that is helping us to be able to try and find these leopards this evening. I was saying that they were in thick bush, and you can see this is basically a termite mound that you can see there, and on top there's a little hot orange spot. Now that is our female leopard that is sitting on top of this termite mound. The bush is very dense around that mound, and she's basically watching out over where the kind of kill is, and so we're hoping that she's going to come down from that thicket and move in our direction. You can see the little cub, by the looks of things, might be coming up behind her. There's definitely her tail moving in the background from that side. Right, now remember that this particular little leopard we haven't actually met too often before. Her name is Thandi, and she is a new queen in the area, and she's really kind of taken to it with aplomb.
A leopard Game of Thrones is playing out at Djuma. Princess Tlalamba, daughter of Queen Thandi and Duke Tingana, is rightful heir to Djuma. She is nearly a year old and feisty like her mother. But she still boasts the carefree mischievousness of youth. If all goes to plan, when she comes of age, she will take up a part of the Queen's Djuma territory. But leopard cubs, royal or otherwise, face myriad threats. There is always pressure on the Queen's borders from other leopardesses. Intruding males like the warrior Hokomuri would kill the princess. The aging Queen must use all of her cunning, strength and experience in the coming months as Tlalamba grows to independence.
Well, I agree with you, Tristan, totally, because at the moment, Tlalamba is the princess of the Sabisans, and I'm trying to look at her in the future. Once, Thandi is out of the reign as the queen of Sabisans, most likely Tlalamba will take over. I got 3 cubs here, and for those of you who are joining us now, my name is David. I got 3 cubs here, and I'm looking at them. Maybe another 1 year from today, they'll be taking over. I'll be taking the shoes of Tlalamba and becoming very active boys. Now, of the 5 females here, 2 of them got cubs. There are 2 sets of cubs. One got 2 cubs, and one has the other. The one that has 1 cub is called Limpy, because she limps when she walks. And during the last migration of the wildebeest, I think she might have sprained her ankle, and she's still limping even today. She had 2 cubs, but she lost 1. And at the age of 1 month to about 3 months, lion cubs are always very vulnerable, and they have lost that one precious cub. Now, she's still holding the other one, as they're holding that meat, having a little bit of tug of war. Is it me? Is it you? But we got very good news here, because 2 females here are pregnant. Well, Nico, that's a very good question, and you'd like to know, does the male eat first? Ideally, if these females bring, or when they hunted this buffalo and they started eating it, if the males were not there, definitely the females would have a field day eating it. But as soon as the male would pick the kill and know that the females have done the good job, Nico, definitely the females are pushed outside and the males will always eat first. So I was saying, as much as one lioness here called Limpy lost 1 cub and she's still holding one, they're very good news, because there's one that I'm going to show you that is eating, facing the other way, and we call her Kinky. And Bunge is going to show you Kinky. That's Kinktail. Kinktail is pregnant, and that is the very good news we have. And we think any time now we should be having new cubs, and we'll forget the sadness of having lost 1 from the lioness called Limpy. Well, Sydney got lions like me, and we'll take you back to South Africa, Kruger National Park.
Things has been happening here while you were away. We have just missed the real action. These 2 has just been mating about 2-3 minutes ago. It was fantastic. I was enjoying the growling and the roar as they were having some mating right in front of us in the wilderness of the western side of the Greater Kruger National Park here in South Africa. So you can see that the male looks very much tired, and the female is so as well looking very tired. So the possibilities of them to mate again, they are very high. They might not finish this time, they might finish next time. We will see. And thank you very, very much for all your questions and comments. You have been very much great. And let's meet again by this coming Sunday at 6:30 p.m. on SABC3.